Hi, and welcome to Yoga Practices for Finding Your Flow. I'm Emily, and I'm looking forward to practicing with you today. For today's Hatha practice, you'll want to have access to a wall for the second half of our practice. You may also find a blanket and a block helpful. So to get started, we're just going to take a nice, easy seat. Let's start by just beginning to arrive in the room. Maybe close your eyes or soften your gaze. Begin to notice your breath. Following the inhale, following the exhale. Allowing the body to begin to physically settle on your mat, softening with each exhale. And I'll offer this prayer voiced by Kate Bowler to guide our practice this afternoon. God, you know me, and you know those things I do that dampen your life in me. Grant me freedom to come out from under what is not mine to carry. Let me sit a while in your presence and begin to sense how you are shaping me for a pattern of life that builds strength and peace. And may it be for me such an inner joy that it might overflow to others. Amen. And that's going to be our intention for our practice today, is one that builds strength and peace, physically, but also emotionally and mentally, and as a reminder, spiritually. And so with our next inhale, even if you want to keep your eyes still closed, we'll reach our fingertips out to the side. And on your next inhale, let them float up above your head, perhaps letting fingertips touch if that's comfortable. And then on your exhale, letting them float back down to the mat. Inhale, we'll let them rise. Exhale, letting them float back down to the mat. Inhale, letting them rise. Exhale, letting them float back down slowly. And when they touch the mat, we'll let that left hand stay where it is. And on our inhale, we'll lift our right fingertips up. And on our exhale, bend over toward the left. Inhale, come up. Exhale, other fingertips lift, and we bend to the right. Inhale up. Each side one more time. Exhaling left. Inhale up. And exhaling right. Inhale up. We'll let both fingertips come down to the mat. And this time, as we inhale and lift both sets of fingertips, we'll exhale into cactus arms and draw our shoulder blades together. Inhale, come up. Exhale, cactus arms. Shoulder blades draw together. Inhale, come up. Exhale, cactus arms. We'll stay here and breathe. Feeling that opening across your collarbones on the inhale. On our next exhale, we'll curve our spine and draw our fingertips around and toward each other in the front. And inhale, open back out to cactus arms. Exhale like we're hugging a tree. Inhale, cactus arms. Exhale like we're hugging a tree. Inhale, cactus arms. And let them float back down to the sides. Let's take right ear to right shoulder. Inhale up through center. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Inhale up through center. Exhale, right. Inhale up through center. Exhale, left. Back up through center, and we'll drop our chin to our chest. And just gently rock your head from side to side or all the way around if that feels better. And if you're taking full circles, make sure you take them both directions. The next time you bring your chin back to chest, we'll pause here. And inhale, lift the gaze back up to center. And maybe tip the head up, looking up toward the ceiling. Feeling just a gentle stretch through the front of the neck, perhaps. You could even jut the chin out if you want a little extra. And bring the gaze back down to center. Let's roll those shoulders a couple of times. Release any remaining tension. We're going to come on to hands and knees, and you might want your block handy. You also have a blanket for underneath your knees if that would feel nice to have a little extra cushion. So when you arrive, take a moment and settle knees underneath hips and wrists underneath shoulders. Press into the knuckles on your hands, particularly right as they meet the palm. And on our inhale, we'll tip the tailbone back, gaze comes up. Exhale, tuck the head, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, tailbone comes up, gaze comes forward. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, tailbone up, gaze comes up, collarbone spread wide. We'll stay here and really act as though you are trying to pull the mat back towards you with your hands pressing into the mat with your shins. Exhale, press into the mat as you drop your head. Press into the tops of your feet and your shins. And draw your belly button up toward your spine and up toward the ceiling. And then we'll come back to center. And we're going to take our left hand and twist and reach it up toward the sky. Exhale, we're going to thread it through underneath that right hand, bringing our left temple either to the mat or to your block. Options for that right hand. You could walk those fingertips forward. It can stay exactly where it is. Maybe you even press into that hand a little bit if you want a little more of a twist here. Or if it feels better, you can rotate and bring it alongside your back, letting it rest here. You might try all three and see what feels best for you today. Take a couple of good inhales and exhales here. Breathing deeply. Wherever those right fingertips are, let's bring them back underneath the shoulder so you can use that hand. Press into the hand to lift yourself back up through center. We'll let those left fingertips float toward the sky one more time. And then bring them back down to the mat. And we'll take this the opposite direction. So right fingertips float up to the sky. Thread them through underneath the left. And bring that right temple to the mat or to a block. All those same options available with your hand. So perhaps try them all. And then return to the one that you chose on the opposite side. Taking several nice, long, deep breaths here. Feeling that twisting action through the spine. Perhaps feeling some settling in the shoulders. And then we'll bring those left fingertips down underneath the shoulders so that you can use your hand pressing into the mat and coming out the way that you came in. Allowing those fingertips to float back to the mat. We're going to take our left foot and rotate that leg 90 degrees so that it's coming off of our mat. It's going to feel a little awkward until you rotate your body to follow it. Coming into this side plank pose here. Once you've arrived, maybe check and make sure that that shoulder's got plenty of room. Maybe those fingertips float up to the sky on that right hand. You feel the need for a little extra challenge today, you can always lift that right foot off the mat, even just an inch or two. Wherever you choose, take a deep breath here. And then we'll bring both hands back down to the mat. Come back onto our hands and knees. And we'll take it to the opposite side. So taking our right foot this time out 90 degrees and then rotating onto our side. Maybe those left fingertips float up to the sky. You need a little extra challenge today, letting those left toes float up off the mat. Deep breath here. And then we'll rotate our torso back toward the mat, coming back to our hands and knees, lining back up. Let's sit back toward our heels. And if you'd like, you can take your block and put it between your feet to give you a little extra seat. So think about sitting up nice and tall, shoulders roll up, down, and back, drawing the shoulder blades together. And imagine that the crown of your head has a thread drawing out the top to draw you upright, making your spine nice and long. On our inhale, we're going to come up onto our knees, coming off of our seat, bringing our hands up over our head. On our exhale, we'll swing our hands back and come back down to our seat. Inhale, we'll come up. Exhale, coming back to our seat. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, back to seat. Inhale, we'll come up. And we'll stay here on our knees this time, but we're going to take our left fingertips and windmill them back toward the back of the room, and then set that hand on your back pocket. Release that hand. We'll bring both hands back up. And this time taking those right fingertips, windmilling them back and letting them sit on our back pocket. Releasing that right hand, bringing it back up. 2 more each side, windmilling that hand back, bringing that hand to back pocket. Releasing hand, right fingertips come back. The back pocket. 1 more set. We'll bring both hands up and then swing our hands back, coming back to our seat. Pausing here. And just notice what the energy feels like flowing through your body. You notice that your heart rate has come up. How is your breath? Take 1 more breath here as you inhale, thinking about that thread coming out through the top of your head, sitting up nice and tall. And on our next inhale, we'll lift up onto our knees, bringing both hands back up toward the sky. And this time we'll open both hands out to the side at the same time and behind us, coming to our back pockets. Palms to your sacrum. And if you like, taking just a gentle bit of a back bend so the thighs stay forward, bending just from the upper back, looking up toward the ceiling. We'll release our hands, bring them back down in front of us. You might want to remove your block as you come down, and we'll bring big toes together, knees as wide apart as is comfortable for you, and settle down into your child's pose. Forehead can come to mat or block. Maybe those hands stay forward. Maybe you let them tuck back around your knees towards your heels. And return to following your breath. Your inhale, feeling your back body open and make space. Feeling your hips soften toward the earth on your exhale. Feeling the shoulders soften on your exhale. Take your deepest, fullest breath of the day here. And when you're ready, we'll come back up to hands and knees. And we're going to step our left foot forward. Maybe use your block to assist you as you juice up those right toes, coming up to standing and stepping up to the top of your mat. Take a moment. Find your mountain pose, feet wide apart, far enough apart for you to feel stable. Shoulders roll back and down. Inhale, let's bring both hands up. Exhale, we'll drop those left fingertips and bend to the left. Inhale up through center, drop the right fingertips. Exhale to the right. And bring both hands down. We're going to step our right foot back, bringing that foot into our warrior two. So our front knee is bent, back leg is straight. And let's give ourselves a couple of opportunities to bend and straighten into that front knee. As you do, if you are tall enough that your knee is coming out over in front of that ankle, just step that back foot back a little bit. Give yourself a little more room. Just means you're nice and tall. And the next time you come into that bent knee, we'll let both of our hands float up, fingertips reaching front and back. This time when we straighten, we'll lift both our hands up and exhale. We'll bend. Inhale, straighten, reach. Exhale, bend. Straighten, reach. Exhale, bend. And we're going to bring that right forearm to our thigh. Left fingertips float up toward the ceiling. Really feel strong through your feet and lift through that arm. Maybe you reach that arm overhead, bringing your bicep alongside your ear. And really think about that side bend that we've been taking now. It's stretching all the way from those back left toes through the side body and out through the pinky. We're going to rotate our chest and our hands toward that front foot, letting that back heel come up off the mat. Plant your hands firmly and we'll step that left foot back to meet the right. Maybe you pause here on your toes or on your knees. And then we'll step that right foot forward. When you feel really stable, perhaps you rise up and drop that back heel. Coming into your warrior two now on this opposite side. Let's just bend and straighten into that leg a few times. Helping you find a really beautiful length for you. Perhaps this next time we'll add the arms, reaching forward and back. Inhale, we'll straighten the legs and reach up. Exhale, reach out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten, reach up. Exhale, we'll bend and stay here. Right, I said right the last time. I was clearly doing it backward. Right forearm to thigh. Those fingertips on the left hand reach up toward the sky. Breathing here. Maybe that hand floats out toward the front of your mat, bringing bicep alongside ear. And then really feel the length from that back left pinky toe all the way along the left side body and out through the fingertips. And we'll rotate our torso and our hands down to either side of that front foot, rotating that back heel up off the mat. Step both feet to the back of the mat. Stay here for one breath. And then we'll bring knees down to the mat. Toes together, knees wide apart as feels comfy for you. Sit back into your child's pose. And breathe. Your breath has grown a little shallow or ragged. Smoothing out those edges. We're going to move from our strength to our rest and peace segment of this class. So when you're ready, coming back up onto hands and knees, take this blanket that we have and roll it up into a little log. We're going to lie down on our belly, if that's comfortable for you. If not, I have an alternative. And just bring this little log right underneath your collarbone and then rest down onto it. So what we've done is given ourselves a very gentle back bend here. Perhaps you let your forehead lie in your folded hands or on the back of your hands. If you want a little more back bend, you can stack your elbows underneath your shoulders and come up into more of a Sphinx pose. Or you can draw that blanket back a little closer toward your belly button and maybe just bring your head to a block. And as you arrive, allowing yourself to really settle fully, surrendering completely into your props. Because our belly and chest are constricted here, sometimes there's a tendency for our breath to grow a little shallow. And you intentionally lengthen and deepen your breath, allowing the space to open in the back of the body. Make room for that deep breath. Allowing the body to adapt and to make space. Perhaps you check in with your glutes and your legs to see if you're holding unnecessary tension there that you could release. Take one more deep, full breath. And then when you're ready, we'll bring both hands underneath the shoulders and press into your hands to push yourself back up to hands and knees. For our next shape, we're going to use the wall for support. So you may want to turn your mat so that the short end is up against the wall or closer to the wall. And I invite you to take your blanket back to its shoulder stand fold, just that square fold it started in. And with the tassels toward the wall, to just lay it up against the wall. It's going to give you a little extra cushion. Getting into this pose on a sticky mat is the hardest part of it. So I'm going to invite you to bring your left shoulder to the wall. You'll notice I'm sitting off of my mat. Once you're here, I invite you to lie down on your right side. You'll notice I'm still just off of my mat. And once you get here, scoot yourself closer to the wall until your glutes touch the wall. It's tempting to stop before your glutes get all the way to the wall, but go ahead and keep wiggling until you're there. And once you've arrived, we're going to roll toward our left onto our back and just let our feet come up onto the wall as we turn. So you should land on your blanket, on your mat, or be able to wiggle pretty close onto it. And be fairly close to the wall. Depending on how you feel, you can always scooch a little further away from the wall if you need to. It's very hard on a sticky mat to get closer to the wall, so hence we go to all that trouble. Once you're here, perhaps you let your arms spread out to the sides or even down in a upside down V if that's a little more comfortable for you. If it's not comfortable for your legs to be all the way up the wall, you're welcome to bring the soles of your feet together, bending your knees and drawing your heels towards your hips, coming into bringing your legs into kind of a diamond shaped pose. Might try either. I love just legs up the wall. Once you're here, consider, is there anything you could do to be a little more comfortable? If the blanket is uncomfortable in any way, just give me a little wave of fingers and I'll come help you move that. Yeah, scooching is highly encouraged. And once you find your position, I invite you to release and surrender completely into your props. As you breathe in, imagine that breath fills all the way down through your torso and rises up through the tops of your feet. As you exhale, imagine that any tension or exhaustion drain all the way out of your feet, down your body, and out with your breath. Continue to allow your breath to flow in and out. If you'd like one, I have a lavender scented eye pillow. Inhaling, fresh, renewing energy flows in through the torso, through the fingertips, up the legs. Exhaling, feeling that any remaining exhaustion, tiredness flowing out, draining out of the legs and being expelled with your exhale. This pose is considered to be one of the most restorative, often quoted that 20 minutes and legs up the wall is as restorative as a 2-hour nap. Rejuvenating the mind and the body. Perhaps allowing us all the more to consider that prayer from the beginning of class. Let me sit or lie a while in your presence and begin to sense how you are shaping for me a pattern of life that builds strength and peace. You're welcome to stay exactly as you are in this pose. That's what your body is calling for, then feel no need to move on to this next one. But if your body would like a little more movement or an adjustment in position, bring your right ankle and cross it over your left leg or thigh, coming into a figure four position. You can leave that left leg long, or if you need a little more intensity, you can always begin to bend that left leg to bring both knees a little closer towards you. You can always press that left foot into the wall and push yourself a little further away from the wall if you need even more space. Notice how your hips feel in this pose. Do you have any sensations? If so, can you allow your breath, draw your brain's attention to those areas? Sending a signal to release or relax in any place you might have stickiness, tightness. We'll lengthen both legs back up the wall. Pause here for just a moment. And then cross that left ankle over the right thigh. Again, that right leg can stay lifted and long. Or if you need a little extra sensation, you can always bend that right leg, drawing both legs a little closer to yourself. Breathing your attention to any places you feel sensation. When you're ready, you can release that left leg, bringing both legs back up the wall. Pausing here for a breath or two. And then you're welcome to stay here or to take any other shape that you might enjoy for your final relaxation. And when you have found your resting pose, find rest. Begin to deepen your breathing. Invite some small movement into your body. Gradually invite larger movement, waking the body back up. When you're ready, you can hug your knees into your chest. And roll to your favorite side. Maybe take a couple of breaths here. And when you're ready, I'll meet you back in a seated position. Let's take one more great big inhale together, maybe reaching fingertips overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart in prayer. And this blessing for you today. May you sense the ways that God is using your life to form you for strength and for peace. And may you be so filled with joy that it overflows to others.